All right, so in this challenge video, we're going to be solving the interval training challenge. And in this challenge, we're going to be taking a look at the set interval method. So in the last challenge, we saw set timeout, and here we're going to see set interval. So set interval works in a very similar way to the set timeout function, where we basically call set interval, and we're going to pass in a handler and a timeout. And so we have this function here. And this function is going to be executed at an interval, and the interval is specified by the number argument, which is passed in here. So what this is saying is that it's saying wait for 500 milliseconds. So wait for half a second, and then execute this function. And it's going to continue doing that until something stops it. So here we have this interval, and then we also have this other code here. So we're logging out that we are starting, and we have this interval variable, and we are incrementing that interval every time this function runs. And then we are logging out the current interval. And that's why over here, if we look, we see we have all of these messages going up to 25. And then it stops. So why does it stop? It stops because we also have this if statement, which says if the interval is equal to 25, we want to say interval stopped, and then we want to say clear interval, which is another built-in function. And the clear interval we pass in the handle for some interval timer which we want to stop. And so where is this coming from? Well, this interval training variable is right here. So what's happening is that when we call the function set interval, this is actually going to return a number. And that might seem a little weird, but this number is basically like an ID, which is used to keep track of this timer object, which is now going to exist in our program environment and is going to represent this interval timer. And so that timer ID is something that we can use to then cancel this interval. And so that's what we're doing here. We are basically getting this handle or this timer ID from calling set interval, and then we're passing that into the clear interval function, which is going to clear this interval and basically cancel it from running anymore. All right, and so for this challenge, we basically just want to change the code so that it stops running the interval after it goes through 10 cycles. And to do that, we can just change this if statement to be when the interval is equal to 10. And we can run the code again. And now we'll see this is going to count up until it gets to 10, and then it's going to stop. All right, so that's the solution for this challenge. And now we've been introduced to both the set timeout and the set interval functions. All right, so we're going to wrap up the video, and we'll see you in the next video.